Greetings. My name is Tracy Miller, and my presentation is on women and power. So, what's in a number? Well, the number 35 is a magical number for women. 35 is an empowering age for women. At the age of 35, plus or minus 2 years, women have a coming of age moment with themselves. 35 is when women decide if they will have children, transition their jobs to a career, make life changing decisions, and overall, they decide to invest in themselves. This presentation will take you through the process and history of women's empowerment. Paradox for women. We all know that a paradox is a statement that, despite apparently valid reasoning from true premises, leads to a seemingly self contradictory or logically unacceptable conclusion. A great example of a paradox would be the Hillary Clinton Monica Lewinsky situation. While many women criticized Clinton for her standing by her man and claimed to have hated her, when it came time to support her, they did. They even applauded her for standing by her man. So, what is the paradox for women? Carolyn Helleburn wrote in 1973 that women's movements have failed and decreased in momentum due to three reasons: the failure of women to bond, the failure of women to imagine themselves as autonomous, and failure of achieving women to resist entering the male mainstream and becoming honorary men. When Hellebrand speaks about the failure of women to bond, she means that generally women don't tend to stick together as men do. She uses the analogy of crabs in a bucket and how you don't need to place a top on a bucket of crabs. Why, you may ask? Because as soon as one crab reaches the top, the others will pull that crab back down to their level. In addition, she says women don't bond because they see resources such as promotions, money, and jobs as limited, and they want their share of the pie. Next, Hellebrand goes on to say that women cannot imagine themselves as autonomous. Here is where the true paradox takes place. As mentioned earlier, and I quote, women will not bond together, and yet they cannot stand alone. She states that women have their connections based on the very existence of men. Lastly, we have failure of achieving women to resist entering the male mainstream because of their fear of becoming honorary men. She simply states that women are dependent on men professionally. These factors preclude women from truly being empowered. This brings us to the male versus female debate. Of course, women think that the world would be better if we were running it. There are so many questions, so let's talk about women and power. There are three groups of women emerging in society today. These groups of women will lead the surge to women in power. We have ambitious career women dropping out. We have the young pace setters, and we have women in poverty. Ambitious career women dropping out. These women are or were born in the mid 30s to mid 60s. They are broken into two groups. Let's talk about group one. These women in group one are career minded and ambitious. They are between the old and new world of women in corporate America. They don't live the traditional homemaker lifestyle. They have had plenty of educational and career opportunities. They are often known as super achievers. They are successful women. They are strong, independent, educated, goal directed, determined, self confident, and career oriented are just a few adjectives to describe these women. We all know them. In fact, many of us are them. They are the senior activists. They are exerting their power and using it to support causes that are of benefit to everyone. Group two is more family oriented. They work and raise children. They have the title of superwoman. They are career minded as well as family focused. They deal with a lot of guilt. They want to be the best mom, but they also want to have a successful career. They desire for their spouses to share in the child rearing and homemaking responsibilities. When they don't, this causes these women to burn out. They tend to leave careers behind due to a lack of support for their family responsibilities from their employers. This is called dropping out, and it is now a thing. These women don't leave because of equality issues or the glass ceiling. They leave because they need a purpose. They often find themselves asking the question, is this all there is? They leave their successful careers for a more balanced and deeper valued life. Their power is established when they connect with others and assist them. They find a cause and they help develop and encourage others. These women will eventually reemerge and they lead in a peaceful and healing way. The young pace setter. These are ladies in their 20s and 30s. Their qualities mirror the ambitious career women and those dropping out, but they have yet to express themselves. They have yet to had they have yet to have had to fight for what they want. They have yet to experience much discrimination. Their male counterparts are considered brothers and are all have had all access to educational opportunities. They have no concept of what it means to be poor. They make great salaries and are oftentimes on par with men. They are capable, intelligent, educated, determined, motivated, and know no bounds. They are motivated by self actualization and income. These are their sources of power. Women in poverty. These women, who are usually single heads of households, are uneducated and unskilled. They lack self esteem and often feel trapped by the system. This is a vicious cycle for them, and they have no idea how to break the cycle. They don't have any idea how to handle responsibility. These women are empowered by those who have dropped out. The dropped out people serve as mentors and encourage them to strive for success. They help them find their way out. Women in power model in organizations. So, how do we acquire power? What are the strategies for women to acquire power? Strategy one, stage one, is powerlessness. Women are vulnerable in this stage and dependent in this stage. They are most often dependent on men, but sometimes women, for everything. Men serve as their bosses, teachers, partners, and knights in shining armor. Men offer them security. This can lead to them being used physically, emotionally, and intellectually. In order to ascend to the next stage, they must find themselves, learn who they are, and their worth. This is the hardest stage to break out of. Stage two is power by association. In this stage, women have come into themselves. They have learned that they are individuals and that they have skills and abilities. They look for bosses and others within the organization with whom they can learn from and emulate. They learn the culture of the organization and are seeking credentials. They learn from their mistakes and seek entrance to the next stage. To get to the next stage, they must take on more responsibility. They do this by volunteering for assignments and acquiring degrees and credentials, setting goals and becoming risk takers. At the end of this stage, they must come face to face with their masculine side. Stage three is power by achievement. This stage is the most uncomfortable, but highly rewarding. This is where women enter and use their masculine side. They are more independent and can make tough decisions. Promotions, money, success, and prestige come with this stage. If women succumb to these trappings, they lose their womanhood. If they don't, they can be rejected and become bitter. This is where they will most likely drop out. Stage three is a necessary evil. To move to the next stage, in order to move, they must become reflective and not get caught up in the games. They should know more about the organization and stand firm in their beliefs. They must know their strengths and limitations and not burn themselves out. They must make connections with other supportive women and men from all levels. They should be visible, serve on committees and special projects if they desire to move to the next level. Stage four is power by reflection. In this stage, women are self assured. They have taught and learned some lessons. They don't always play the game. They take more risks in this stage and have established a base of support. Trust is established and integrity rules the day. Women in this stage are more collaborative and interested in helping others. Women reflect on their journey thus far and make adjustments. To move to the next stage, a woman must reaffirm her femininity. Special note, in this stage, women can hit the wall. In the wall experience, they must face their pain and fears in order to move forward. Great leaders emerge from this wall experience. Stage 5 is power by purpose. This is the most comfortable stage for women. Delegation rules today. Women delegate and serve as role models for women and men. Women in this stage are confident and consider others as they make decisions. In order to move to the final stage, women must slow down and relax. Stage 6 is power by wisdom. In this final stage, women are personally purposeful. They have a calm that is internal and external in nature. They see the paradox that exists, and it's okay because they know better. They accept themselves, flaws and all. They have nothing to prove, and masculine, feminine dichotomies no longer exist. They are truly, truly at peace. After the completion of stage 6, women are now leaders. Women and leadership. Women possess authentic power. Authentic power is rooted in relatedness, connection, and alignment with nature and the natural impulses of life to grow, expand, evolve, and connect. This authentic power is what women take into organizations. As leaders, women lead from the heart. Leading comes naturally from them. They are now seeing and forming their identities in organizations and growing in power. Women are the hope for a new and different kind of leadership. They are empowered. These are my references, and here are your questions to ponder. Please respond to one question in the discussion post. Do you think it is important to have women in positions of power? Why or why not? What attributes do you think women possess that makes them powerful? Thank you for listening to my presentation.